Hello, I am Peter Blackwood and I am angry. I know I don't look angry. I'm putting on my calm in control talking to camera face designed to help my viewers think that I am calm and in control. Well, the truth is I am in control, but I am not calm. I have been watching some videos about icons. Watching videos about icons usually makes me happy. I like videos about icons, especially icons about painting icons. I like videos about the history of icons. I like videos about the theology of icons. My calm has been gouged because I have watched videos of making icons by preparing a timber panel, then printing a photo of an icon that someone else has painted and pasting it onto the panel and splashing paint and varnish around to make it look pretty and old. One video then went on to show how it is carefully packaging and posting icons for online customers. I paint icons and I teach iconography, so that probably explains my anger. I am watching people espousing crafts that produce something that takes somebody else's art and passes it off as a replica of the original. Worse than that, in some cases, selling it off as something I would spend hours of artistic skill in producing and calling it an icon. Well, is it an icon or not? I can hear cries of no, no, no from a huge chorus of voices across the iconography world. A whole range of reasons for this outcry will accompany the outrage of these voices. Where do I start on this litany of objections? How about I don't start, because I have thought of a problem with all of this. The problem is that when the church was emerging from its iconoclastic periods, the councils of the church gave a very wide berth for how an image of the holy could be rendered. It included every art form and that it could name. An icon could be painted with pigments, or it could be carved, it could be cast in metal, appliqued as banners, it could be mounted on timber, on plaster, on stone, mosaic, on fabric. The question will always remain that if photography existed back in the day, could it have been included as a valid medium for iconography? If Andrei Rublev was painting icons today, would he use power tools to prepare his panels instead of hand saws and chisels? Can you see where the blurry lines I'm struggling with are coming from? Can a photo of an icon be made into an icon? I would like to join the no brigade on this, but there is another question to reckon with. What do Christians expect their icons to do? My research has come up with a list that includes things like helping to have Christ and the Mother of God and the saints and the scriptures come close to us here and now, that we may know them better and be assisted in our prayers to God. We ask that our icons share a certain artistic style or family of styles, so that their traditions link us with our Christian heritage across the ages. The familiarity helps us in our belonging to the family of God. I have been deeply moved by the story of a friend who remembers the photo of Mary that came with her refugee family from Europe when she was a child. She knew it to be a sacred object for her mother. This little image was doing all that is asked of an icon. Perhaps I should stop there before my icon photo outrage gets completely trounced. If I'm not careful, there will be some passage of scripture that pops up and says yes to icon photos. I bet the Apostle Paul would come up with something to say on the subject, like, well, when he wrote to the church in Corinth about not running roughshod over the practices of Christian observances that were regarded as spiritually inferior to those considered better educated. He does this in chapter 8 when he gets stuck into differences in religious dietary practices. Don't be a stumbling block to the infants in the faith. Me. Have I been arguing myself into a self-defeating corner? Well, the Apostle Paul wouldn't let himself be defeated by this kind of debate. When he was writing to the church in Rome, he could imagine how a protagonist might take his argument to some limit that made nonsense of what he was teaching. He would say something like, "Does what I am saying mean that?" Then he would write, "By no means," or as my New Testament professor translated it, "not bloody likely. It doesn't mean that, it means this." Well, taking the Apostle Paul as my example, let me assert, can photos of icons replace original icons? Could photos of the great icons of history replace painted icons? By no means. Quite the contrary, as Paul would say. Painted icons have a special place in worship, in the worship of the church. I can concede that an icon comprising a photo depicting Christ, his mother, or a saint, or an event related in Scripture as an image that brings resemblance and remembrance of the heavenly places into the attention of worshipping Christians. Ability to pay large prices for painted icons should not replace or preclude any person from having access to an image that assists them to assist any devout person in prayer. Yes, photos of icons have their place. But please, consider these things. An icon that aids the prayer of the church has a special place in the church. It is, in a certain sense, venerated, not worshipped, but venerated. It's truly honoured as special. It's touched by the holy. The thing that struck me when watching videos about making and marketing icons made from photos of icons is that most attention was being given to preparing the panel, cutting it to size, smoothing it and colouring it and making it look beautiful or old or both. The attention given to gluing the photos and lacquering the final product, even the careful wrapping and packaging the product for dispatch to its purchasers. The least attention in all this preparation of this holy object was given to the actual making of the image that has the responsibility of conveying the holy into the lives of Christian worshippers. Absent is the contours of the brushstrokes on the image. Gone are the hours of tuition. Gone are the years of experience and concentration of planning the composition, of choosing the pigments, of building up the layers of paint, of assessing and correcting. In the photo icon, all that struggle is long ago and is forgotten in the task of getting a suitable piece of wood to glue a piece of paper onto it. Two works of art that I have studied and loved are Rembrandt's Prodigal Son and Rublev's Trinity. I am familiar with them through photos and commentaries. None of my looking at their photos or reading experts' comments compares with standing right in front of the original works of art and seeing all that photos cannot convey. My memory of the Prodigal Son in St. Petersburg was the dirt on the sole of the son's bare feet and the shadowy figure in the top left corner. Being close up and personal to the Trinity icon in Moscow, I saw flecks of gold on the wings that never showed up in photos. The immediacy of the artist's skill at bringing spiritual insight into the lives of fellow travellers through life is palpable. Praying before a painted icon brings not only the image of the holy, but brings very close to us a fellow brother or sister who has painted this image with the desire to help you in your prayer. They have handled the panel. They have mixed the paint. They have dealt with these ordinary bits of matter and fashioned them into a holy object. Thank you for watching and listening to my rant. I feel much calmer now.